What is up, y'all? Capone Tony here, and it is Wednesday, you guys, which means we have a new content drop in Ever Crisis. What immediately catches my eye when the game loads up is to see if we got a new banner or not, and we did in this case. So we got Sephiroth. He has a new costume. Red XIII, constantly getting screwed over, did not get a costume, but he did get a new weapon, and we're gonna dive into both and see what both of them bring to the table. So with the Shinra Formal Uniform for Sephiroth, this one is interesting when it comes to cosmetic. I think it looks fine. I'm not sure how well it fits Sephiroth's character, if you know what I mean. I don't know, man. I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks amazing. I think it looks okay. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Shinra Formal Uniform. We got buff debuff extension, which is hitting so many different characters now. And we have Wind Mastery, which is kind of interesting. So if you've been playing this game since Halloween, Sephiroth got a costume on the Halloween banner, and it included Wind Mastery already. But that one included boost HP. So yeah, that is interesting. Why did he not get an Arcanum? I don't know. Anyway, let's actually just go into his weapon now. So Shina Military Sword. At OB0120, this does 260% physical non-elemental damage. We got P attack increase buff, 25 seconds at mid, max out at mid. If 50% HP or more, which you're most likely going to be 50% HP or more, you're going to be boosting your wind damage mid, and it maxes out at mid. OB6, that wind damage goes from mid to high, and the B attack buff stays at mid, but the duration on both of these increase, do a little bit more damage, and at OB10 you're going to be doing still at mid for P attack increase, and the wind damage is going to go up another 5 seconds, or the wind damage buff. So yeah, this weapon is pretty good. So if you were here, what, 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we got that banner for Yuffie, or not Yuffie, but Tifa, where she's buffing her elemental water damage. So it's kind of similar to that in a way, where if you have Tifa's bunny gloves with her bunny costume and that buffing weapon, then you can kind of combine the two and make a pretty solid elemental build. For her, it would be an elemental water build. And the same idea applies to Sephiroth in this case. So let's go into Sephiroth's weapons. So if you have this weapon where you're boosting wind damage and you're boosting your physical attack, you can also combine that with Dark Heavens, which has the same R abilities, by the way. And but this weapon is just straight up a pure DPS wind weapon. So if you already have a pretty good Dark Heavens and you combine that new buffing weapon with this costume or his Halloween costume, if you already have it, then it's a very good setup overall. You're going to be doing a ton of wind damage. And also to note, both of these special material slots are the same for both these weapons, which is also kind of interesting. So, but yeah, for this one you get P attack 31, 52 wind potency. Wind potency is great. P attack's kind of low. This one is kind of the opposite, where you get more P attack, but your wind potency is a little bit lower, 4639. So, I mean, you combine these two, you're doing pretty well. It's a very, very optimal wind build. Would I say it's better than the potential of Tifa's build, where with her Water Arcanum? And I would say no, because she just has more utility. I think she also she can boost her elemental damage. Like, let's go to Tifa. So for hers, if you have bunny gloves, you're boosting your magic attack for every time you use it, which could potentially go to high. And then she's also debuffing, or actually no, never mind. So, oh yeah, she is. Yeah, she's debuffing water resistance. Instead, for Sephiroth, he's actually boosting his water elemental. So it's kind of like the inverse, I guess. And this one is magic based, and Sephiroth's is physical based. So yeah, combine this weapon with the wind weapon, you're cooking. You could use either costume. I wish the new costume had an Arcanum, but you know, weird to have two costumes that have mastery. I don't know. The new costume is good for buff debuff though, because of this weapon. These these buffs are going to last longer, which is pretty cool. But yeah, kind of wish the new costume was an Arcanum. Just my nitpick. But either way, combine that costume with those two weapons, you got a really good wind build. Very solid. All right, now let's go into Nanaki's new weapon. So Mr. Red XIII, let's just find it. There we go. So he's got the silver collar. Rolling Claws is attack. OB0120. You're doing 200% physical non-elemental damage on 200% physical non-elemental damage with a crit. Wind resist is decreased mid, and also 50% HP or more. Water resist is decreased mid. So this is pretty interesting. This weapon, just like his previous weapon, the Ivy Collar, has two different elemental debuffs. So Red XIII is pretty much turned into the best elemental debuffer in the game. He can do it all. And our abilities on this are kind of interesting. Heal and buff debuff extension. Interesting. But this is an all cure. That's kind of interesting. So he has an all cure slot with this. So you technically could use this weapon as a debuffing weapon along with a cure all, which is kind of neat. I kind of like that, actually. Yeah, that kind of makes Red XIII finally more versatile as a healer. Before he has this Platinum Collar, which is fine, but it's not, you can't use it in all scenarios, I feel, where sometimes you just need a big AoE cure, like full blast AoE cure. Regen is kind of just a, bit by bit cure. So I kind of like that. He also has a wind attack slot as well, wind boost. Yeah, I kind of like this weapon. Like, these R abilities aren't going to help at all when it comes to, like, the actual debuffing. This is purely used to help out other members in your party. Kind of similar to how he's being used right now. So when you go to Red XIII's kit, he's got multiple of these weapons now. Wind and water resist decreased. His previous weapon, Ivy Collar, fire resist, ice resist is decreased. This weapon is used a lot right now for Leviathan. Red's been very good in that battle. I used Red on my team when I beat EX1. Thunder resist is decreased. So, yeah, he can do it all when it comes to being an elemental debuffer. And when you can bring that kind of, I guess, what's the word for it? What resist down? Elemental resist down? Utility? Yeah, utility's the right word. When you're bringing that kind of utility to a party, you're always going to be kind of useful. And people are really noticing that now when he can be, the way he's used in that Leviathan battle. He can resist, decrease thunder resist. He can also decrease magic attack. Both useful against Leviathan, by the way. And now he can resist down even more elements, which is pretty cool. I like it. I like this weapon, and I like it has an all cure slot too. Pretty cool. But am I going to draw on this banner purely for this weapon? No. I feel like you only draw on a banner if you want the costume. And in this case, this banner is not limited, so you will be able to wishlist these weapons and get them eventually. Also, another cool thing about these two weapons is that both of them, this is happening a lot with all these new weapons, is that the ATB cost is 3, which is really dope. So you're getting all this utility. P attack's increased, wind damage is increased, 3 ATB, really cool. And then Red XIII, same thing. ATB 3 for that weapon. His previous weapon, the Ivy Collar, ATB 3, really cool. So these are very good weapons to have. Even if it's just one copy, very helpful. At least for Red's case when it comes to debuffing. When it comes to Sephiroth, you probably want to get, probably OB6 on eventually on it. I mean, just one copy is pretty good too, but you want to have those R abilities like really high. So yeah, if you want to like maximize his wind build, I mean, you gotta have one of the two wind costumes that have the wind mastery, along with having good R abilities on both of the weapons. That one and his Dark Heavens. So yeah, am I going to pull on this banner? Probably not. As I mentioned before in previous videos, my wind setup is pretty good. I have a motor drive Tifa, with her Cowgirl costumes are really good when it comes to wind. I have Aerith's Wind Arcanum dress with her OB7, what's her weapon? Prism Rod. So yeah, I think I'm pretty good on wind right now. But if you need a good solid wind build, and if you already have like Dark Heavens like OB6, then I feel like, you know, and you don't have one of the costumes, because I feel like you don't really need this costume. It's nice to have, but if you are someone that's free to play, your crystals are kind of limited, I don't think you need this. I think it's an easy skip, especially if you have his old costume. If you don't have his new costume, or if you don't have that old costume, then I think, you know, this is something to consider. Especially if you have Dark Heavens set up pretty well already, you know, something to consider. But for me personally, I think it's an easy skip. I would probably draw on this banner now because I do want the Earth. I want to increase my Earth potency, and I think Yuffie. I like Yuffie as a character too. So I said before I was already going to draw on this, but I kind of held off because there's been rumblings about a limited banner potentially coming. It wasn't this week. Maybe it's next week. I don't know. I think I have enough crystals now where I could feel like I'm safe enough to clear at least one page in this banner and, you know, still feel pretty good about the, you know, if there is a limited banner in the future. I don't know where this is coming from, but I don't know. Just something to think about if you are, you know, contemplating these two banners. A limited could be coming in the future, but we don't know. It's just been speculation. But anyway, yeah, that's my review on this banner. If you want to make Sephiroth a great all-around wind DPS, you know, like this costume, this weapon, Dark Heavens, OB6, very good setup. Red XIII, just another great debuffing weapon when it comes to elemental resist down. So yeah, I think it's an okay banner, but personally for me, it's a skip for me. But anyway, let me know what y'all are gonna do. Are y'all gonna pull in this banner? Have y'all pulled in the previous banner? Or are there some aspects of this banner I did not consider? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this content, please give it a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you on the next one. Later.